what is it that you call are you done yak shaving?
Yak shaving, yes.
Why do you, what happened to Americanish?
Sorry, it was too American for me.
It's too
I
American.
just couldn't figure it out.
You're done refactoring your massive system. Okay, it looks like you and I gonna have another 5 hour session to go through it, and I judge you, silently. Just look at you and be like, just wait. I can't wait. What's his name? Ash? Is that short for Ashley?
It is, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with Ash. Just wait. Wait, the PHP guy. The
I,
PHP guy.
I'm kind of intrigued to see how that pans out because PHP has a lot of very sort of similar features, like that they've got an ORM that's like fairly EF like. They've got
Everybody now has ORM, Java, Scala. Everybody.
yeah,
I don't know about
and like
Python though.
in the API layer, they've got a thing that's very sort of ASP.NET Core like, and Ash is using all of that sort of technology. So I'm curious to see like how the standard pans out basically in a PHP environment, because that will be a true test of whether or not what you've designed is truly universal to all developers instead of
Yeah,
just being a thing that only kind of works in a .NET environment.
yeah, definitely, certainly. I know the standard works with Scala. I know that, at least version one of it. Things have
Nice.
evolved a lot since then, but I can't wait to see. This is why I'm very, very, like, we joke and we say, "Oh, I'm gonna roast you, you PHP, whatever." But I'm actually silently, I'm very actually excited about this because, um, this is one way we can put the standard through, a completely different tech stack, something that Shri has been calling for a long time. You haven't really met Shri much and talked to her, but she's just another person that understand my engineering standard very well, and she knows how to kind of lead and drive people to kind of implement that kind of capability. Very
Mm.
passionate, very very patient. She learned the engineering standard, and then she went and started an organization to bring moms who quit their jobs, take care of their kids, and now their kids are older. She brings them back to teach them the standard and brings them back into the job market. She's very powerful, individual. So that kind of brings a lot. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
Good.
Shooty McStabby. I kind of liked him more with the beard and the hair, right? He had a lot more, Yep, he's got the OData Neo. There it is.
I gotta pull it out.
See, that's dedication right there. That's the kind of commitment. I need to bring one of these. I think I can modify this guy. I think I can make it say OData. I think like this guy here, you can actually make it flip into, I don't know, what do you call it? You can go to Twitter, timer, radio, temperature, Robinhood, views on a certain video. It's pretty cool. I love it. It's
Did you
it's
get your monitor back from work, or is that a new one? Because
no,
I
so
saw you posted a picture of a box the other
yes,
day.
yeah. So this guy here is the guy that used to sit here, right?
Ah, okay.
That guy, and then this guy is the Neo, and the Neo is much more curved than anything else. It's huge monitor. It's a 49 inch. It's
See,
it's it's
I love the idea of an ultra wide, but the thing that annoys me is I'd have to drop a whole ton of pixels because I run on my desk a pair of 4K screens, and
yeah.
they're 4K wide, but they're not 4K tall. They're only 1440p, aren't they?
Well, this one here, let me show you. The Odyssey, let me show it to you, wherever I bought it. Here it is. The Odyssey
It's like the
uh
G9 or something, isn't it?
G9. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Neo. So
yeah.
this
Because I was
Odyssey,
looking at
Big
it.
43-inch TV.
there you go. Joe got it right there. He's got a whole TV. So
Yeah.
so so this mini LED 240 hertz. This guy here. If you
Nice.
look at this guy, it says that it's 4K UHD mini LED display.
Which it is. It's 4K, but it's the thing is, you want when you've got that much width, you want dual 4K basically,
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I,
that's
I
that's my issue.
so the next upgrade is that I'm about to take this guy, and turn it into a Linux machine, and
Nice.
I'm gonna bring in the so th- the Corsair have done very well. Is if you want a real development engineering machine while you're a streamer, while you're all over the place. Yeah, the Corsair is it's the way to go. You know, there is so much. It's just a compact. Not even this one. This one is an old one. The new one is, hold on. This
It's a
is
lot of
this
hardware.
yeah, it's very powerful, but what's really good about it is that, so see, it has the NVIDIA GeForce 3080,
Nice.
64 gig ready to go to 128, 2 terabytes of RAM. So that's the machine. Literally, the people that developed this Corsair, they developed it for software engineers, which is not something you're gonna see a lot. Like they
Yeah.
literally say, here's your power to write software, to create and build software. Most of the most of the hardware that you're going to buy, they will say, oh, for gaming, because the gaming market is much, much bigger than the software engineering market. But these folks here, they say, no, we're literally building this for you to actually be able to stream and develop video games and write software. So that I like. That's what they built it for. That's what they're making it for. So it makes sense, right? And the other thing about this, I think this is, this is actually an older one. Hold on. This is the Raisin one. There is one that's what's the latest one? Hold on. The latest one that they released is a lot more powerful than that. Is it the i200? I think that's the one. Yeah, is that? Yeah, I think that's the one right there. Yeah, this guy right here. That's the next guy. That's the one that's coming, create something amazing. It's for creators, for developers, for people who want to stream and write software and do all that kind of thing. I'll just order it today. I'll bring it in. So,
That price tag is why I tend to custom build, because then I can just buy the pieces. I don't have to
yeah,
buy a whole machine. So when I do like an upgrade, I might buy like a board and chip, one day, and then like a few weeks later, I might buy some better memory or something, and then a few weeks later, I'll buy like a new NVMe drive.
you get to
So I don't
upgrade
have,
as you go. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so I don't have to shell out 5 grand in one hit.
The one thing I like about this so the machine that's sitting down here, is the Mac Pro. The iMac Pro. And this iMac Pro, the cheese grater, right? This guy here.
People
And
buy
what,
them.
yeah, I have that sitting right here.
I thought they were just like a tech demo thing that, like, Apple would roll out and go, "See, you can do this," and everybody was just like, "Yeah, all right, price tag," and just don't bother with them.
Did you buy
Great.
the feet for it?
This one?
Yeah, wasn't there like some stupid like add-on that was like $400? I
Oh,
know
you mean the
like
you
the
mean the
monitors.
wheels? The
Yeah,
wheels?
the
No,
wheels. That's what it is.
no, no. I know I did not. I'm not I am kind of stupid, but I'm not that stupid. That's different, So here's what I did. What I like about this machine here though is that they built it so you can customize it. Like they hold the kind of, let me show you the thing that I really appreciate about Apple. Look at this machine. This is the machine that I have, right?
It's a Xeon, isn't it? It's a server in a box.
It's basically a server. It's very powerful. You can get it up to $50,000 if you want to, of modifications. But I'm gonna scroll over to something. I want to see if you guys notice it. What do you notice in here?
What are the
What's the
3 slots there? Are they PCI Express
graphics card?
slots?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just the one thing that just comes to mind.
I mean, it's got tethered video cards.
What's up, Sam? Hi, Ricky. So
It's
look,
clean.
this is Apple for you. No cord. It's cordless.
Yeah.
It's cordless. There, even if you open these, it's all plug and play. There is no cords. That's why Apple is great. That's what I like about Apple, right? Is that you get to look at something like this and be like, they made PC assembly and modification mainstream.
The
Unless you
thing
got to
about Apple
connect
though is
any apart.
the thing
Taking it
about Apple
apart?
is what
Uh,
they've always cared about is how something looks.
yes. That's
You know
what
what
I
I mean?
like about Apple. This
Yeah.
is this is what I appreciate about Apple. See, you know, I love that Microsoft gets something to work, but it's really technical and it has all these buttons in it. Apple will go and say, wait a second, I can make this one button. I can make this no button at all. See, that's
Yeah.
pushing. So Microsoft on the back end, oh, Azure, you want have cloud, and libraries, and believe it or not, we had smart cars before smart cars were a thing. Like Microsoft, that assistant that you get in the smart car, we had that, car assistant. We had maps, we had, there it is, that can take care of vehicle and stuff like that. We had a lot of these things, but a lot of these projects went down because the presentation is important. The presentation is really important, and that's what I try to kind of add on and bring into the game, right?
It,
um
it
Go ahead.
annoys me that like the way the world works these days is that these
uh
companies are so focused on competing with each other that you can't bring them together. Because if you think about like Apple's design and appearance and making things look fancy, and Microsoft's technology prowess with actually delivering stuff, if you put those two things together, you get something that looked great and had all the functionality in the world.
well, this starting to happen, like since we had Satya, the current CEO. He started saying, no, we want to run Office in Mac and Android. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing in the past. And then once you start doing that, what do you think is happening? Talking to Apple engineers, talk to Android engineers all the time. Let's see how you can bring this Surface Duo is a high collaboration with bunch of Google engineers. It didn't just happen like that, right? And so on, so many other things that are being developed. So it's getting there. But the bigger the ship, the longer it takes to steer. You're talking here 200,000 employees company. Have you seen Apple campus? Have any of you seen Apple? Let me show you what Apple campus look like. Let me show you our campus, and then I'll show you the Apple campus, and then you'll understand the size, right? So Microsoft campus, we have we have what we call the kind of X buildings. Like if you look at the building, see, this is an entire city. This is a massive scale. I think my building is over here. I was just in this building yesterday, but that's Studio B. But um Microsoft is massive scale. We have three houses, for God's sake. Like you can actually go inside and actually work inside of the tree house.
Have you been visited?
Yeah, of course, many times.
Oh, really? I
Yeah, yeah,
haven't.
yeah.
Hassan has a picture published somewhere where he's in it.
Literally, yep. I went with the body of Michael Daniel Crane, and we basically went. There it is. This is inside the treehouse.
Oh, I haven't. Maybe
Then
next
I'll take you there. Then
Okay.
I'll take you there, and we will eat food, and we'll be happy. Okay, so yeah, you'll see inside. So there are inside of these buildings. There's some really crazy place. We also have the quietest place in the world at Microsoft campus. We have the quietest place in the world. Like in fact, actually, you could hear your own thoughts inside that building. It's really quiet, and we use it to record high quality, kind of high fidelity kind of sounds and stuff like that. And now if you look at the Apple campus, of course they have to make something look really fancy because it's Apple. It's all about the
I bet it.
experience.
I bet it's smaller, but it looks better.
It's actually massive. Look at this thing.
Yeah, that's the round one.
Jeez.
And I actually visited it. It's ridiculous. It's like a
Is that the ultimate one button?
yeah.
Good
It's
thing that's not in the Northeast somewhere. The heating costs would be ridiculous.
yep. Yep. They put it in a way, I think it's in where did is it in Silicon Valley? I don't remember where the Apple campus was, honestly. Where did I go to see is it Union Square, Seattle? No, not that one. Where is it?
I
Apple
wonder if they
Park.
put the foils on the side so that
Yeah,
you
it's in Cupertino, California. Yeah, that's right. It's not too far from Twitter and all of these other places, but these buildings are not as fancy as you think. I'm sorry, Joe, what were you saying?
I said it looks like they add those foils on the side probably so that you don't have like a magnification effect with the sun.
It's maybe, I don't know. I like that it's really integrated with nature, like see how it's more kind of integrated with everything around it. But then you'll also see a lot of these things like all the time. This is tech, here's the thing. America is where the software industry was born. Sorry, Paul, just deal with it. This is where personal computing happened, right? So if you're a software engineer, America for you is like the promised land because this is literally where you're gonna find people saying like we have here in Seattle a place called the Computer Museum. The stuff that you can see in there, it's the beginning from the beginning of the beginning of computers. Like I saw a computer that's bigger than my entire room and it prints a freaking little card with punch cards in it, and that's a computer, right? You feel like they have horses running inside of that machine, actually doing that punching with their stomping with their foot, with their feet. So this is crazy. Anyway, I don't know if you guys know this gentleman here. He's a near and dear brother to my heart. His name is Ricky Cruz. Have you guys met Ricky yet? Hi Ricky, welcome to our quick OData Neo sessions. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Nice to meet you all. I've been always watching all you guys.
You watch us pickering, just pickering and
Yes.
all the time.
Do you
So
think
so
it's boring?
it's for him. He's in Puerto Rico. I don't know what time is it in there.
It's 1:20 right now,
So the
and
same as Joe. You're like Joe, I think.
yeah, I just happen to be around the neighborhood because I'm actually free today. So
Yay! That's awesome. So the one thing I really appreciate about the standard community is that it just made it's like we have one big open source company and people jump in from one team to the next. Microsoft would call them neighborhoods. You just jump into the neighborhood and you walk into another team. The only difference here is that you don't have to be onboarded or anything. Just watch the videos and join in and write code with us. Love it. Love that. This is wilder than I ever imagined. I just wanted to write software with people and then somehow it just formed itself this way.
I'm,
Okay.
get, I'm getting some extremely promising results from my reverse factoring system. Yeah, like you
Okay.
said at the beginning, we'll have to have a catch up when I'm ready. I want to get some more of the code cleaned up because I know there's going to be obvious stuff that you're going to complain about. But
So
yeah,
so
it's definitely good.
So a lot of people have actually asked me, I have at least 4 people just yesterday said to me, what happened after that 4 hour session?
Yeah. So what happened was we had a 4 hour discussion about putting invoices into the system. I then realized that architecturally, invoices go into buckets, which I kept sort of touching on in that conversation, but we never really talked about. But basically, buckets kind of represent a security context of sorts, and invoices have to be put into them, which meant that in order to get the functionality we did talk about working, I had to
Yep.
implement that. But of
Yep.
course, that was all tightly bound into things like users and roles and stuff. So I had to implement that as well. So that was the point about yak shaving. It was
Yeah.
like I had to implement the thing to implement the thing to implement the thing before I could actually implement what we talked about. So
The
I was
biggest
like,
refactoring the biggest refactoring ever. And for people who are not familiar with yak shaving, let's just educate the public here. Here it is. What is yak shaving? Yak shaving is a programming lingo for the seemingly endless series of small tasks that have to be completed before the next step. That's literally what Paul just said. That's literally what it is. And I don't know, does yak mean like a moose or something? Is that what yak means?
a yak is actually an animal, and it's sort of like a cross between a moose and a cow. I think the reason why they call it yak shaving is the original story that it came from. Was some woman was complaining to her husband, why haven't you done whatever it was I asked you to do yet? And the guy was just like, yeah, I'm just shaving this yak. And and it was literally like, what does it look like? I'm trying to get your
Weren't you supposed to do your next episode instead of that? But that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I guess it refers to tasks that don't seem to be immediately doing the main task, but it's actually related to it. And it's not very, okay. That's
yeah.
so weird. That's yak shaving. Okay, we learned something new today. Yak shaving. Because Paul wouldn't shut up about it in the Discord. Yak shaving. I'm yak shaving. I'm like, oh God, just get scissors, from the anyway. So okay. So here's the thing. Something really great we did last time. By the way, Joe, thank you so much for going back and refactoring the tokenization service. I really appreciate it. Joe went back and he said, you know what, I can make it a little bit cleaner, and he did. He basically went back and said, okay, here's the deal, Hassan, this is the outcome of this. Let me clean this up. Let me close all the crazy stuff, and let me go here and let me share this. Yeah, okay. This I was just showing my manager this. I was showing him my license plate says did pool on it, and then people read it did people. It's hilarious. So, okay, let's go to let's go to GitHub real quick.
Is
It
that your
raises,
actual number plate?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of get a little angry with me because I'm not actually a Washington State Cougars University alumni. And they say you shouldn't get that plate. I'm like, well, I have money. There's my degree right there. That's that's all I need to have. So anyway, so let's just do this. So this is OData Neo, and the pull request that we have, which is a tokenization service. I wanted to merge it together with you guys, so it's actually done, right? But I wanted to merge it together so you're gonna see, the full extent of what we've done so far. We basically have for people who don't know how to do this trick, just click dot. If you click dot on GitHub, it'll open up an editor. So this is the deal. We have our logic right here, and we have our tokenization service. This is our no, this is the testing. Where is the there? This is our tests. I want to look at our actual implementation. There's our actual implementation. So Joe cleaned it up a lot. He said, hey, tokenize, go out there, pick up that information, and then go ahead and process that. There might be a little bit of cleanup stuff, really, really tiny things that I need to put here and there, but that's basically our PR. I will take care of some of these things, like things like this should be the full name, like character. There's no little characters like this. Things like, we could maybe simplify this a little bit, or find a way. This guy needs to always stay on top here, right next to the method name. Just things like that. What I really wanted to talk to you about today is the next step. So now we are on this second stage. There are 3 stages, and we're already done with 33%, right? The second stage is to pick up this array of tokens and then turn it into a meaningful agnostic structure of O nodes that can be easily transformed into an expression or a SQL, command or whatever protocol you want it to be, right? And last time we had a lot of discussion. Lucky for us, we had a lot of discussions around thinking about O node first before we came to that tokenization piece. So this is not going to take long, and we're going to start writing code as early as next week. Just so you guys understand, next week, Monday and Wednesday, I'm out. I'm celebrating Eid, so I'm not going to be there, but we're definitely going to connect on Friday. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Um, the Let me pull draw IO here real quick. Okay, let me pull the public draw IO here real quick. Let's see. So this is this guy. Here it is. Okay. Let's kick this ball. Here's what we can do. We can either do this horizontally and go and say build the O node service to handle a particular scenario. And then let's go and build the expression, and now you're slicing horizontally. So instead of waiting for the entire service to be done and then the next entire service to be done, we can go horizontally like that. That's something I learned the hard way, right? Even though you can call yourself an agile and you're developing, doing 2 weeks iterations, if you're not reaching the end of your software from end to end, from storage to UI or from, tokenization to expressions, you're still not very much, you're very much so a waterfall person. So here's what we have, guys. We have words and we have separators, just like that. And we want to turn these into something that means something in terms of O nodes. So we need to produce, these are tokens, and we want to turn these tokens into O nodes, right? Let's get this ball rolling. I always like to start from the end result and work my way back and then kind of trigger the discussion and see how people feel about, a one certain direction or another. But let's just see how far we can take this. So we said let's simplify things on tokenization. It's either a word or a separator, and that's it. I think that's what we did, Joe. Or was there a third one? Let me just double check here real quick because I don't want to build on top of something that I'm not sure of. It's been a while.
There's only the two.
Yeah, just words and separators, right? Okay. So what we want to do then is that we want to take the words and turn them into more meaningful types, right? So a word is gonna be either I don't know, an operator. It's gonna be either a value, or it's gonna either be something like a clause or something like that. Let's start from here. How do we feel about that approach? Like we're taking a token and we're turning it into into node, and this node is gonna have a type at this stage. Node like that. O node. What do you guys think? Thoughts, ideas about that approach? I just want to make sure that we're okay with that before we start digging into how we're gonna do it. We need to know what we're gonna do before talking about how we're gonna do it. Seems we're in agreement or disagreement.
So
Um,
go on.
one procedure. So different procedure output different results.
Yes,
So it's a combination. So
yes.
like A plus B multiple C. Final node is
Mm,
is a add. If we have the parentheses before A and after B,
mhm.
the whole output is multiple
That's
node.
right. That's
So
right.
it's a procedures.
That's right. And in order for us to
It's
get to that, mhm. In order for us to get to that point, we need to make sure that we turn these tokens into easily processable typed nodes. What do you think about that, Sam?
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. So I don't know whether we should be considering at this point that what we might have is not necessarily entirely OData.
Hmm.
So um, um, so we haven't really talked about kind of expectations here in terms of we don't care where it's come from, but do we need to establish some rules about what we expect from the input? And maybe we start with that before we start considering the breakdown, if that makes sense. But in
So,
terms of nodes,
mm,
we've already got a node structure, right? We've got a node object that we can put these things into. So the question is really, okay, if we've got words, what can words be, right? In terms of token types. I like your idea of when you've talked about things in the past, generally, when we talk about code structure, particularly in reference to where we're having discussions a lot about the standard and things like that lately, the general rule is a rule of three, right? So if words can be broken down into three different token types and separators can be broken down into three different token types, that would fit quite nicely with that kind of general rule. I don't know how well it fits though, and how useful that will be.
we could experiment with that, but you still, when you're doing nodes, you're not OData. You're just kind of focusing more on properly identifying, what these words are. Can we agree on that one at least?
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks that we can use as well because we're moving from a flat array to
Yeah.
an actual tree structure, aren't we? So
That, that
we
that would
can.
be that would be the third service, not this one. This is the second service. That would be the third service. Don't
Oh,
worry about that part.
so do you want this to return a flat array of O nodes,
Yes.
and then the third service will turn them into a tree?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because
So
if you put the
as you said, the
identification,
node
go ahead, Sam, go ahead.
node is a node item in a flat array.
Yes. And
It's
then
not a node in the tree. It's not a node in the graph. It's just a node in the flat array.
it will be a node in the flat array in service 2, and then service 3, which is after this one, will turn it into a tree. Separation
Why
concern, right?
do you think to separate the whole node service into two parts?
Yes, yes.
I mean, why?
Because this is a very complex operation. It's gonna it's gonna be really big. This part that you talked about, Sam, the breaking things into trees and stuff like that, it's gonna have a lot of logic in it. I saw your code. I saw what you were thinking. So if we continue to do smaller incremental,
Sam,
go ahead, go ahead.
what do you think the parts are? So if you're saying producing in the node tree is two parts, right? So two services. What's service 1 and what's service 2?
Yeah. So here's the part. That's actually a good question. Let's go back here. So here's what I'm thinking. There is you have the tokenization service. We already finished that one, right? It's gonna give you a bunch of tokens. And then there is another service in here that will take these tokens and turn them into, let's call this node service. And this, it just turns it into nodes. I will call it node identification service. So it identifies, these tokens and kind of focuses them into, more typed nodes. And then the third one is going to be the OData focused one. So this one is going to be called OData node service. And this is the one that knows about OData. This guy doesn't know anything. This guy doesn't know anything either. Because I want at some point in time, people can go and say, no, I don't want it to be OData at all. I want it to be this other protocol that still consumes that information. And this way, you don't have to worry about decoupling the identification effort and the tree building effort from each other. Go ahead, Joe.
My thought on the node identification service is that's more of a, since you're going from flat to flat, it's more of a projection service.
Let's call it projection service. I'm
And
okay
then
with
anytime I hear node, I tend to think of something hierarchical.
it. We can call it something else. We can call it like, well, you're producing nodes so they can be put in hierarchy in the next stage.
Okay, so what's that adding to the information that we already have in token form?
It makes this guy only focus is to rearrange the nodes instead of trying to identify them first. Like this guy will arrange the nodes. So here's the responsibility. This guy will go here and say, right, tokenize, right? And this guy will go here and say, identify or project. And this guy will go here and say, I want to organize.
So if the node types and the token types were identical, this would do literally nothing but copy
Yes.
some data over, right?
Yes, and that's okay.
So yeah, well, that's my question. Is that okay, or are we expecting there to be more node types than token types, or different node types than token types?
I mean, you sure certainly gonna end up with some types where you're not just saying words. It's either a value or a clause or an operator. So we know that for sure, right? Because word is it's like you saying object. But you never say object, you say student, teacher, school, class, course, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so you said that obviously the projection service needs to know nothing about OData, but it needs to add something.
It needs to identify the types, yes.
Right. So, but identification you need context for, right?
I mean equal sign is equal sign everywhere, right? The only thing that, right, equal sign is equal sign, dollar sign is dollar sign, Open parentheses is always open parentheses, stuff like that. Where it gets very interesting is where you go and say EQ. What is EQ? Is this OData specific or is this something else, right? We can just go and say this is, this is an equator or something like that, because I don't expect EQ to be anything else. But also you have to be careful because this projection service needs to turn the tokens, which are just a raw chaos of information, into the proper structure. Remember when we were talking and saying, oh, the single quote is a separator token, and then everything after that is a word, and then the other single quote is a separator token. In the world of projection, they become one thing.
Do they? Or is that an OData thing?
I mean, literal is literal, whether it's OData or not.
Okay. Let's go with that then.
Hmm.
So I'm envisioning this almost like what Antler would provide for creating a domain language.
Configuration, yeah.
Yeah, a DSL.
Yes.
So whatever we decide, so the projection service could look at one token or it could look at nearby tokens to decide what to evaluate whatever it's currently doing. So EQ is a perfect example.
Hmm.
OData in a certain context, EQ could mean one thing, and then at an extension point, if EQ is contained inside of another user-defined function, like I don't know, is cat, it could do something completely different.
Yeah.
So this is where that stuff will kind of get evaluated, and hopefully it gets the right type, so
Yeah.
that in the next phase, that object can be nested in whatever structure it needs to be, so that we can evaluate into an expression later on.
Yep.
With,
I'm okay with that. See,
with
we gotta separate these responsibilities. You gotta see through it.
Yeah,
Because
so
this stuff that's gonna go here is gonna be crazy. Go ahead, Ricky. Go ahead.
yeah, would that mean that the projection service would need to be configurable in order to like Joe was saying that I need to know what EQ actually means for this in order to identify what to use or something
It's
like that, right?
it's gonna have a little hint of OData in it, but we're gonna try to avoid that as much as we can.
Okay.
Think about tokenization. So this is how I think of it. Like the world is not zeros and ones. Like if this guy is all green like this, and let's say the red is OData, this projection service would be a little mixture of both in some way. So this guy will be like this, would be a little bit of red and a little bit of green. It's the hybrid state between the two that basically allows us to kind of see, what, you know, I'm leaning a little bit and I know what my purpose is. I don't want you to, but you're forced to go in that direction. But what's more important than this is that you're basically going and saying, I'm a little bit of this and that, right? But we're gonna try to avoid that at all costs because I want this guy to be reusable as much as possible.
So that projection service actually reminds me of a concept that Paul brought up when we originally were having our discussions about the tokenization service.
Mhm.
Basically, everything that all the dependencies for this service would basically take in a collection of tokens and then either act on them and alter them, remove some, or combine them. So it can do things to the whole collection if it needs to.
Absolutely. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, now that we have the whole collection, we can actually analyze it. Because, yeah, the problem we had with the previous one was we didn't have the collection. We were still in the process of building it. But now that we've got it, we can actually write logic across multiple tokens very easily, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gives us that net benefit, I guess.
Does this Ash guy have a face, Paul, or is he a bot that you developed?
You don't want to see that. Yeah,
You don't want to
Oi.
see that?
it'll
Oi.
break your channel.
Well, I just don't have a camera on my desktops.
What? You can't afford one? Is it too expensive in England?
I
They
prefer
break
not
every
to use a
time.
camera. Pro-choice, man. That's what Americans are about, isn't it?
Pro-choice.
Some of us.
We are pro-choice as long as you choose the right one.
Oh, give me that one.
Anyway, oh wow, that's the most American thing I've ever said. Okay, so okay, yeah, that's it right there. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of kind of get the room into a little different mode because we got too serious there, um, too much for my anxiety. But anyway, this is can we at least agree on this level? Because this is really important. If we separate, there's going to be a lot of work in this. I had a guy reach out to me on Twitter the other day. He said, your mission is impossible. I think you're out of your mind. You're rewriting OData. And I said to him, it's worth a shot. It's not just me, right? Two brains is better than one, and we
If
have
it's
like
been
five or
done
six.
once, it can be done twice, right?
Exactly. I'm not even copying like the challenge. I know where he's coming from. This guy's been writing software for 30 years, is one of my favorite people. And one of the things that he said is that he said, if you're just copying the code over, that's easy, but you're reconceptualizing. So you're out of your mind. I hope they're paying you for this. It's like, well, it's not. I'm not really getting paid for this, but I'm getting paid community and contribution and a lot of other things. Um, and to get to be friends with Sam, who dropped off the call because of his garbage internet. I'm gonna go and just rip out his router and just toss it off the window. I'll just give him a router as
He
a
said
gift.
something about a meeting in the chat, so
Oh, he did? Okay.
yeah,
Stand up.
I
Okay.
guess he had a clash at this time.
So this
Okay.
person that said you were crazy, do they know that Sam's working with us? Like if it's
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
big of a
but
deal, I don't
you,
think.
but you have to understand, like, OData predates Sam a little bit. Like there was a lot of work that was in place. Sam has been in the OData space for about 7 years now, or 8 years now. But it was actually started by, Sam's boss, Michael, and there was another guy. These are the guys that actually were there, when it happened, right? And that was some 13, 14 years ago, right? That was before Sam and I even finished school. So this is the difference there. So anyway, I think this might be okay. I think this might be a good place to start. I mean, we have a tokenization service. I want to make this simple and easy. Don't think about how we can get it done. Think about the next person that's going to look at this code and be like, what the heck is this code doing? I'll be honest with you, like even the tokenization service, I want to simplify it a little bit more, but it's one step at a time, right? Yeah, one little tiny step at a time. And we make sure we tread carefully because on the projection service, we're going to have to split. Like we're gonna have to split into groups. I will be in both groups and 3 groups just to stream the work, but we don't have to all gather together at once anymore. It's just gonna be a bunch of simple, smaller tasks, and we know exactly what needs to happen. Just go ahead and just like the Star Raffle project. I used to stream. Ricky knows, and then now there's nothing in there that invites other than the UI stuff that I do with Josh McCall. I don't know if you guys know about these videos, but I do these sequence videos with Josh McCall, talk about Blazor and all of that, because that's another genius that I'm trying to bring out to public and say, look at this guy, he knows a lot about UI. Talk to him, right? Okay then. So Friday next week. So this is something for you to think about throughout the week. Friday next week, please go ahead and come up with ideas because we're gonna start writing some code. We're gonna start writing some code. We're gonna take an array of O tokens and turn it into something else. Transform it into something else. What's that something else is going to be? That's what we're gonna be working with. Okay, folks, we're good. Peeps, Joe, Ricky, Ash. When do you want to talk about PHP? Garbage language, trash. You're working with trash all day long. You may
I
as well
work
call
with
yourself a
people. I
garbage
work with
man.
enough trash people. That's fine. I mean, I don't really have anything
I don't know
to
what
start
he's
off
even
with.
saying. Is he speaking English? What are you saying, son? Go ahead. Say that again. Go,
What,
go.
can you not hear me very well?
I can hear you now. Go ahead. Go ahead. He's a new guy. You gotta roast him. Gotta give him a little.
Does PHP have garbage collection? Because isn't that a garbage collector?
It goes right in the front, right from the back. It's the recycler.
Just as I was actually about to give an answer to that one. No. Unbelievable.
I looked at PHP years ago, and I basically said, "Ugh," and
Yeah.
never looked at it again.
Believe it or not, when I was 16 years old, I built a DSL management system in PHP, and then I never touched it after that.
I
It was
will just say there's a backstory as to why I use PHP, and it's that I had nothing else to go for. When I started
what do you
learning,
mean?
I couldn't access anything but free web servers out there, so that left me with only learning PHP.
.NET's
Or
older than you,
JavaScript.
Ash.
Huh?
That's total bollocks. Come up with a better story.
Like
Wow.
every PHP developer, he couldn't be bothered to
I mean,
write
I was
code.
going to be buying your bloody C# for what's it called?
Could
The
have made
C#
your own
book on
CGI.
Amazon.
What?
What was it?
What?
C#
C plus?
starter guide or something? I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh, you mean the book?
The one you put on Amazon.
Oh, you mean the standard? What do you mean?
No, 1 second.
The other one.
The other one. Okay, the other standard. Okay.
The book written by the other Hassan.
Oh, C# from C# from scratch.
That's the
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Yeah. That's one way I'm trying to bring people to use C#. You know,
Yeah. I was
So-
going to end up reading it, but I don't know anymore.
read it, but read it and use a real programming language like a normal person.
Yeah,
Wait,
but the author's a bit of an arse.
Wait, how long have you been a programmer, Ash? And you've never met an arse before? What the hell?
Yeah, I met you.
So, so just so you guys understand, Ash is basically saying I'm a donkey. Because they don't say ass, they say arse, whatever that is, You guys, we need to give you English classes, just this whole thing, doesn't make
You
any
said the word
sense.
Americanish wrong.
Americanish.
Sorry, Mr. Sidewalk. I'll try better next time.
So Joe, they're having a hard time because we say sidewalks instead of pavements because it's Lord of the Rings, it's the old times it's the 18th century. Oh, go into the
What is that
pavement.
reference? How do you get from pavement to Lord of the Rings? What?
It's old. It's old English. Like as soon as you said pavement, all I could see is just horses and people fighting with swords. That's all I could think of.
What? Were they
Not all
horseback
sidewalks
riding?
are made of pavement.
You what?
Not
Say
all
that?
sidewalks are made of pavement.
Right. There you go. See?
No. Pavement's made of
boardwalk.
like tarmac and cement.
See, you boof heads, you don't know nothing.
I'm gonna start using daft more.
Anyways, thank you guys for the little laugh. I wish you all a good weekend, and Ash, let's find some time and talk about and find a camera, like a normal person,
I think my housemate's got one. But
what
I
are you
see
on,
you've
what are you
got,
on a watch list or something? Is that what it is? What is it?
I probably would be with this beard, not gonna lie.
He's probably because of a PHP, wanted.
Oh.
He wrote
Hey,
once
I
on
mean,
a
you got
forum
a-
that he liked it. Yeah, they say I'm watching him now because of it.
I can be available tomorrow night, which is Saturday Pacific Standard Time. Find some time and let's chat. Oh, actually, tomorrow's not gonna work. Sunday night, which would be your Monday morning, because of the surprise that what's his name, Florian and Elbic have for us. They're starting a new project. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be standard compliant. We've reached France, boys. That's what it is. So we had England, we had France, we had Puerto Rico, Australia, Germany, Poland, and the United States. The number one country, of course, just in case you're missing the part. Anyway, thank you guys so very much. I appreciate you all. You take care. Have a good day. Okay, take care. Bye.